I was thinking about Mark Carney's Wreath lectures, which was it yesterday morning? This morning? I can't remember when I heard them.
Okay.
And I was kind of initially really encouraged to hear someone talk about value and values and stuff like that. And then when he was asked for a good example of a balance between purpose and profits, he mentioned Unilever and Danone. And I was like, these guys have got terrible environmental records. Why are we still looking at these companies? And I feel that we need to start telling the truth and stop pretending that these big corporations can really, really sort out the problems of the world. They really cannot. And I find it just very worrying to keep hearing at this moment in time, with the environmental crisis as terrible as it is, people in places of authority to be referring to these, big corporations, and it's their size. It is due to their size that they will not be able to sort out the environmental problem. So I guess I don't have an immediate answer to that, but I find it just really interesting to see the kind of lack of imagination. Is it really that we cannot do without Danone and Unilever and all these big companies? Or do we have to say this wealth belongs to everyone? These guys did not get to the top because they single-handedly, as self-made men or women, created all this wealth. The wealth that they've created is the wealth of people. It's the wealth of people, it's the wealth of the land, it is the robbing of the commons that has allowed them to rise to the top. And I just wish we spoke about that a little bit more. And I wish people on the ground realize that they are the economy. They are the energy that keeps this machine on the road. And right now, the way we look at the economy is as if we have to be plugged into this economy. We have these so-called job creators. Actually, we are the people that if we took our energy away from the system, if we create alternative ways of exchange, we could build the world that we want to see. And right now, we are leaving it to these big corporations to decide the fate of the planet. And it just disturbs me to the core. So I just had to kind of throw that in there, that it just disturbs me so deeply. And I just don't want to hear Mark Carney say things like that. And yet this is on Radio 4 and there's going to be loads of people listening to that and feeling like, hey, there's something good happening. And it's not good. It's not good what's happening. It's terrible. It's terrible that we take this as some kind of solution. Forgive me. So I need a drink of water now.
Well, I agree with what you say, but the challenges there are so fundamental, aren't they? We're talking about reframing the kind of economy that we need, but there are so many challenges to it. How do we get through that power block?
I understand. I understand the challenge, but I feel like let's name it for what it is. Let's start with, like Paulo Freire said, you change the world by speaking a true a word can change the world. And we need to speak and say what these things are. And Max Neef 40 years ago was calling these things collective pathologies. It's a collective illness to believe that is the solution, that we can just keep consuming. We can't keep consuming, and the consumerism isn't actually meeting our needs, and it's making us no happier. So there has to be something so radical and transformative that needs to happen, or we just sort of let it go, and we go to our demise. But it feels like this is the moment just to say, sorry, we've reached the end of the line. Stop it, everybody. What is it we really need? And let's gear the economy towards meeting people's needs, which we had a glimpse of with COVID. We had a glimpse of that actually what we really needed was to feel safe, to have food, to have warmth, to have people in homes and not on the street. That is meeting our needs, and an economy should be geared towards doing that. Anything else is just superfluous nonsense. It's not making anybody any happier. And yet we are destroying the planet for the sake of keeping the economy going. And that to me is the biggest crime, and I can't look my child in the eye and think I'm going to go along with that.